Good morning, my friends. How nice it is to wake up to the sound of the surf on the seashore. Yesterday, I crossed the border between Georgia and Turkey and found myself in a small village, which in Turkish sounds something like Uncharted. On the one hand, crossing from Georgia to Turkey is a simple and logical choice, but on the other hand, I wanted to visit Armenia and Azerbaijan. But alas, the hostility between these countries greatly complicates border crossing. If you get a visa for one of the countries, it's impossible to enter the other. But I am confident that I will solve these problems and be sure to visit these countries. But later, and now I am waiting for a beautiful and sunny Turkey. I suggest that you also join me on a trip to this wonderful country. As I said before, in my trip around the world, I will mostly hitchhike, and now let's check how it works in Turkey. Well, hitchhiking in Turkey works really well. I held my thumbs up for only 15 minutes, after which a Turkish trucker picked me up and agreed to give me a ride to the nearest major city. Just look at my friends. A flock of dolphins is swimming in the sea parallel to us. I think this is a good sign that our journey will be successful. From the very first minutes of my stay in Turkey, I am in high spirits, probably because I have been to this wonderful country on a tourist package many times, and I know what to expect from visiting it. It is a hot sun, gentle sea, beautiful scenery, delicious food, and hospitable Turks. However, in the north of the country near the Black Sea coast, for the first time, and I already anticipate new experiences, Turkey is a wonderful country with rich history, which is nestled between Europe and Asia and absorbed the characteristics of both continents. Its western part, where Istanbul, Izmir, and Antalya are located, is richer, more densely populated, and faces Europe. The other, stretching from Ankara to the east, with its rugged, vast, monotonous Anatolian steppes, retains its Asian heritage. Western Turkey, attracted by the fabulous magic of Istanbul and the longest and cleanest coastline of the Mediterranean. Eastern Turkey is better for adventurers and free travelers like me. The food and drink here is cheap, and not to the detriment of quality, and the kindness and responsiveness of the locals is pleasantly striking. Both in the west and east of the country, many ancient ruins, from the Stone Age to the Hittites, Greek and Roman cities, monuments of the Byzantine and Ottoman empires. As a rule, it was for these cities chose the most beautiful places to build. Everywhere there are uncreated wonders, caves and waterfalls, canyons and volcanoes, lakes and springs, as well as spectacular mountain scenery. Turkey's role in today's global society is more balanced and important than ever before. It aspires to become a cultural bridge between Christian Europe and the Islamic Middle East. Since Ataturk's reforms, Turkey has remained a model of a modern secular state, despite the fact that 99% of its population is Muslim. Guys, here I am getting to the first major Turkish city on the Black Sea. Trabzon is a major port on the Black Sea coast in northeastern Turkey, and its history goes back to 1000 BC. The city was founded by Greek colonists, and at one time, Trabzon was the western terminus of the Great Silk Road. Throughout history, Trabzon was a commercial center where ships from other Black Sea cities sailed, and from where land routes to Central Asia started via the Zigana Pass. During the Roman and Byzantine empires, the city retained its sovereignty and was even the capital of an independent state, but eventually surrendered to the Ottoman Empire. During World War I, Trabzon was invaded by the Russians, so the city is home to a large Russian community that grew up after the collapse of the Soviet Union. Trabzon is located in a remarkable location between the sea and the Pontic Mountains, whose steep forested slopes descend directly to the shore. The city is formed by three main districts located on the mountain terraces. The business district is the closest to the sea in the southern part. To the west is the historic district with ancient buildings and churches around the Mosque of Ortahisar II. Remarkable is the Kundu Rajilar, a distinctive bazaar with wooden buildings and narrow passageways. On a hill at the western edge of the city, there is a lovely Byzantine church, Hagia Sophia, which works as a museum. Trabzon is separated from the rest of Turkey by mountains and somewhat isolated, making the city unique. Even today, many of its residents, who are Muslims, still speak a distinctive Greek dialect. Friends, on my way to the Trabzon lookout, I found a wonderful historical artifact in the open air. It is a cast-iron cannon from the Russo-Turkish War with the muzzle stamped Obukov Arms Factory, St. Petersburg. Judging by the branding, it was cast as far back as 1892. I was reminded of the lyrics of a song by the Russian band Nogu Svelo, dedicated to this very subject. The crescent moon is silent, and again a mysterious wind is blowing from the east. The crescent moon is silent, and once again St. Petersburg and Istanbul go to war. To spend my first sunset in Turkey, I went down to the sea, in the very spot where there is a small but cozy boat dock where local fishermen go out to sea for evening fishing. Hey guys, new day and new adventures. I've already hitchhiked and found myself in a hitchhiker's car. Let's meet the driver. What's your name? Matt. Surprisingly, Matt turns out to be a soccer player and plays for the local team Trabzon. That's the kind of amazing introductions you can make when you hitchhike. Matt isn't much closer than he needs to be, so I'm going to take a little ride with him and then I'll hitchhike to the next car. After driving some distance with my new soccer player friend, I switched from a car to a truck. Unfortunately, the truck driver, unlike Matt, does not speak English at all, and we only communicate through Google Translator. I found out that he was on his way from Azerbaijan to Istanbul and offered me to go with him. In principle, this way I save a lot of time, but I miss a large section of the Black Sea coast that I would like to see. So I decided to go, but only as far as the next major city, Samsun. I really enjoyed the truck ride because I sat high up and through the large windshield. Nothing prevented me from admiring the beautiful scenery of the Black Sea coast of Turkey. In the meantime, The cozy villages with tiny piers for local fishing boats were replaced by small towns with bigger piers and repair bases for large ships. In each locality, I noted a large number of mosques along city embankments, cozy squares with pavilions for recreation and picnics by the sea, as well as sports fields with simulators. Sometimes, as I drove, a thick fog would descend from the mountains to the sea, enveloping the houses and the road, and my journey would immediately become mysterious.
Hi guys! I hitchhiked my way to Istanbul in the evening and reached the second major city on the Black Sea coast, called Samsun, not to be confused with Samsung. Walking along the city's waterfront, I found a memorial complex dedicated to Ataturk. On May 19, 1919, Mustafa Kemal Ataturk addressed the Turkish youth in the city of Samsun, announcing the mobilization to fight the troops that had invaded part of Turkey. This speech marked the beginning of the national liberation war of the Turkish people. To the city of Samsun, Ataturk arrived on the ship Bandırma, which played an important role in Turkish history and which now, as a museum, is installed on the Samsun waterfront. Given my love of ships, I must climb aboard the Bandırma right now. Let's go. Bandırma is a museum ship that was built in Scotland in 1878 and became part of the Turkish Merchant Navy. Prior to that, the ship sailed under the British and Greek flags. On board the ship, there are the Hall of Honor with wax figures of important persons of those events. The stateroom of the ship's captain, the bedroom of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. Ataturk, who does not know, is the founder and first leader of the Republican People's Party of Turkey, the first president of the Republic of Turkey, and the founder of the modern Turkish state. Well, the tour of the ship's upper deck is over, and now let's go down to the hold, where the second museum exhibition is located, with documents and artifacts reflecting the significant events of those years.